As potential graduates, most of us are preparing to step into the corporate world yet again. Possibly starting at the lowest rungs of the contemporary business ladder, we shall endeavor to look upon our supervisors as guides, role models and mentors. The consolidated reading, So What is Good Management Really?, on one end of the spectrum provides an excellent insight into some admirable managers and leaders, while on the other hand it showcases some notable bosses who have risen to the pinnacle to be regarded hindsight as poor not so good ones. The prose has tabulated statistics, data and ways to assess managerial and leadership skills that help become a better boss.
Hi, Steve Schlegel. One of the questions I like to ask business owners is, what is a manager? Because they're generally managing a group of people, or they may have managers or supervisors underneath them that need to manage groups of people. And oftentimes there's a struggle with learning how to be a good manager. So when you ask the question, what is a manager, what comes to mind for you? When I ask it, I get answers like, oh, they're a leader. Well, they're a manager, They have responsibility. They provide direction to a group of employees. They're accountable for certain results within the organization. They're the one who hires and fires and sets job descriptions and does performance reviews and makes sure things get done, stuff like that. And that's all true. Those are all tasks of a manager. But I think the important thing that we need to drill down to is, how does the manager do that? The how is really, really important. A manager has to take the attitude of a servant leader. And what I mean by that is he or she serves that group of people that are under them, that they work with. And so when you're serving that group of people, you're making sure that they are being trained with the skills that they need, that you're putting them into areas that they can succeed at. Each employee has different strengths and weaknesses. Are we plugging them in within our team or within our organization so that their strengths are maximized? They'll be a much happier employee and they'll be much more productive if you do. Do I make sure they have the resources that they need? If I can make each employee an excellent employee, and if I'm focusing on them and how I can help them in that way, I'm going to succeed by default, because if I have a great team of people working for me, my job becomes very, very easy and I become very successful at it. So think about it. Think about it for yourself and who you have to manage. And if you have managers and supervisors working for you, help them understand what it means to be a servant leader so that they can accomplish the what's of management by being skillful at the hows.
Hallmarks of a good manager. Good manager allocates challenging work to employees. They create space for employees to perform. Good managers provide need-based support to employees. Good manager accords recognition and praise. They are not afraid of making decisions. Great leaders are born with intrinsic qualities. They are visionarily bestowed with non-negotiable ethical values. They believe in empowering individuals and recognize performance. Leadership is the process of motivating a group to achieve a common goal. Leadership also entails breaking boundaries and taking risks to convert a vision into a reality. Within a business environment, this means motivating employees to meet or perhaps exceed the company goals. Exceptional leaders inspire, communicate effectively, are honest with their subordinates, and think outside the box.
A lot on this. First, I want to underscore that it is not personality. We confuse leadership and personality all the time. We know this because some of the greatest leaders that we've ever studied, near as I can tell, had no personality. And they really did have a charisma bypass. You take someone like Darwin Smith, who was the chief executive of Kimberly-Clark when he made a leap. And here's this person who wasn't even sure that he should have been given the job, and who was quiet and shy and reserved and nerdy and described his own management style, if he said anything at all, as eccentric. And yet, felt the burden of responsibility for the company, and he was the one that made the really gutsy decisions to sell the mills, 100 years of oppressive mediocrity, and sell those mills and put all the energy into what became the consumer business, the Kleenex and so forth. And who earned a place in our list of the 10 greatest CEOs of the century, but yet at the end, in his very uncharismatic way, summed up, "Hey, I was just trying to become qualified for the job."
Crossover between leadership and management. Although leaders and managers often have different skill sets, it's ideal to have a skill set that allows you to excel both as a leader and a manager. Managers often need to think innovatively and come up with unconventional strategies, in addition to their regular duties. They should also be able to inspire confidence in their employees to also become effective leaders. Boss versus leader. A good leader coaches on mistakes while a boss drives employees to work hard. The difference between the two can be demonstrated with the phrases I and we. A good leader tries to bring everyone together and signifies we, while a boss says I. So, in short, a leader is someone who generates enthusiasm, gives credit to employees, and leads them from the front, while the boss has quite different characteristics. Sense of management. We all know bad managers, be they ambitious and aggressive, doing whatever it takes to move up the corporate ladder, or the opposite, managers thrust into their position without the skill or the will to do the job properly. So let's try the opposite approach, to focus on the bad behaviors we are trying to get rid of. Greed, wrath, pride leads to hubris, lust, gluttony, envy, and sloth. If we take all 7 sins together, they map nicely onto the classic strategy loop, in which a manager sets direction, monitors and reviews performance, and then makes corrections. Can I become a better boss? The best leaders understand their strengths and weaknesses, manage tasks and people separately, and build relationships outside their team or organization. Incidentally, these 3 concentric circles are mutually buttressing. Comprehending and assimilating from several globally accredited managers, leaders, and companies enunciated in Reading No. 1, Unit 10, numerous management, leadership skills are seen to be common among prominent bosses whose images are flashed on this viewfoil. It is imperative that we must incorporate most qualities, if not all from those that are listed on the slide, to be future-ready, and become great bosses in the foreseeable future. Thank you.